The Lord gave them bread from heaven. The psalmist reminds us today, and it's echoed in our gospel as well. The Lord gave them bread from heaven. It's a reference, of course, to the manna that God gave the Israelites when he led them out of slavery in Egypt on their way to the promised land. The Lord gave them bread from heaven. And what did they do with this heavenly food? For a while, they ate it, and they appreciated the sustenance that God gave to them. But then, after a while, they complained because bread from heaven isn't enough. And so they said finally to God, "We are disgusted with this wretched food." Then God sent quail, and they ate it for a while, and then they complained. They were thirsty, and God gave them water from a rock in the desert. And they drank it for a while, and then they complained. The same cycle over and over again. But before we drop the hammer of judgment on the Israelites, let's consider what the Lord has done for us and how we have responded. God has given us the flesh and blood of his Son. And what have we done with it? The Lord has blessed us with the gift of life. And how have we used it? The Lord has given us a community of faith where we can be strengthened in our relationship with him and with one another. And how have we engaged it? With every blessing from the Lord comes a call to stewardship, because every gift is given for the sake of our union with God. Every single gift we are given is directed toward that purpose. It is the reason that everything was created, to give glory to God. All of reality exists to give glory to God. You exist to give glory to God. Your relationships with your family, your friends, the work that you do, the talents and the abilities that you have, all the conversations that you share, everything is made to give glory to God. All of life exists to give glory to God. It's not that we can kind of parcel things out and say, well, I have a gentle spirit, and my gentle spirit is made for union with God, but the fact that I can play the trumpet or that I'm good at math, that's for something else. And so we kind of parcel things out. No, everything is made to give glory to God. It is the purpose for the existence of everything. But we have been overwhelmed by the lie that some things have been given for our own sake, that some things are for our own personal profit, that some things are just solely for us and not for the benefit of anyone else. But it's not true. Everything is given so that it can be returned to God through service to our brothers and sisters. Friends, this is how we work for the food that doesn't perish, that Jesus speaks of in our gospel. There is no expiration date on this kind of food because it lasts into eternity. The use of our abilities for good, our care for the poor, our sacrifice to educate our children in the faith is food that endures into eternity. This child, Flynn, was brought to church today and was given a name by his parents. And when God calls him home, he will call him home by that name that they have given to him. Because what we do today, as we pour water over his head and anoint him with chrism, is say, you are made for eternity. It's a reminder to us. All that we have been given is made for eternity. There's nothing that we can just kind of throw away. Nothing that we can ignore. Nothing that we can dismiss as useless. Everything has the capacity to remind us that we are made for what is eternal. Friends, this is why, at Mass, we don't do the readings or the prayers off an iPad, because we're not just flipping through a screen. We use substantial books. We read from something that's sturdy and wooden. We celebrate Mass not on a card table, but on a firm altar. These are not things that we just dismiss, not things that we just throw away. They're substantial for a reason. Because everything, you're going to hear me say this about 20 times in this homily, everything is made to give glory to God. And this should change the way we look at our lives. This isn't a burden to say that everything is made for the glory of God. It doesn't add any weight to us to go through life thinking, oh gosh, everything's made for the glory of God. That stinks. No, it elevates everything. Everything becomes something more. We see the beauty in everything. Its capacity to lead us to God. It's like a band, a collection of instruments. The guitarist doesn't get angry because there's a drummer in the band who's banging too loudly. The saxophone player doesn't get mad that there's a bass player who's stealing his thunder. The cantor doesn't get mad at the piano player because sometimes they play the same notes, and who's better at playing those notes or singing those notes. It's ridiculous. Certainly not in our choir. That would never happen here. It's better when it is together. It's better when each one recognizes the beauty of what they're doing and puts it at the service of something that is greater than them. Because we are better when what we have is offered for the sake of something else. Everything is made to give glory to God. Our lives, our hearts, all of reality, everything is made for that purpose. And every day, God gives us bread from heaven. Every day, God showers His presence and His grace and His mercy upon us. And what do we do with that gift? It's possible that we can go out and we can snatch at it and we can grab it and we can take it home to our rooms like I did when I was a kid, and my mom brought home fig Newtons from the grocery store, and I took the whole box and I went and I hid under my bed in my bedroom and I ate the whole container of fig Newtons, which didn't turn out well for me. But we can live life like this, grabbing and snatching and just grabbing things for ourselves and then running off to our own little corner and taking it for ourselves. And we can do that and we can end up isolated and empty, because that's where that leads. Or we can receive with gratitude everything that the Lord gives to us and offer it freely so that it becomes something more. This is why it's given. This is why we exist. To participate in something that is so abundant that it overflows into eternity.